are close to the release of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like Japanese television is airing commercials about the game close, the commercials are also loaded with a bunch of brand new footage as well. However, if you're a longtime FF7 fan, what's shown in one of these commercials is pretty wild. In this commercial, you get not one, but 2 looks at Meteor. Yeah, that's right, Meteor. Something that there is absolutely no way that you should be getting a peek at all the way in Midgar. Yet, as you can see, it's something that's going to be in Final Fantasy VII Remake's first project. Some people may be curious both how and why this is showing up so early. The how, I think, is somewhat self-explanatory. More than likely, Sephiroth is making Cloud have these visions in order to mess with him. The same as the hallucinations that we've seen before, teased in such trailers as the one from E3. Which, that part is all cool, but then you might be wondering, why is it in there? I'm under the assumption that they wanted to tease longtime fans of Final Fantasy VII with what's to come in the future arcs, and to give a strong taste of that within this first game, which I'm sure that people are going to have their feelings on, but that's not the only thing that you see in this commercial. You can also spot Sephiroth with his one wing visible. That's right, we're already going into one-winged angel mode in the first game of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Although I suppose that shouldn't be too surprising, as we've seen in the previous key artwork that Sephiroth had that wing out before, teasing that that would be a thing in this game. Although when we got this key artwork in 2017, we didn't know that the first game would be Midgar only either. I am positive this is bound to rub some people the wrong way, as there's a lot of people who already feel like there is way too much Sephiroth too early. And I am sure for the people who do feel that way, they're going to really feel that way when they see a one-winged angel and Meteor happening in the first part. But where I stand is somewhere in between all of that. I completely understand that they need to have the presence of things that you'd find later in the game of Final Fantasy VII within the first game of this remake in order to make it a truly satisfying standalone experience. Summons are almost the perfect example of that. This wouldn't feel like a full standalone Final Fantasy game without summons in it, something that normally doesn't appear in Midgar. And so of course now you're able to get those summons much earlier. So I get why they'd want to show Meteor and just Sephiroth in general so early. You've played the original, and basically they want to give you a taste of what's to come. And that way, knowing how things look and feel in this remake, you're sort of baited into playing the next game. But I also really understand the opposite sentiment, where there should be a complete and 100% focus on Shinra as the main villain of this first game. After all, part of the reason that Sephiroth is so menacing is a lot of the mystery surrounding him. Although another perspective is a perspective of a newcomer. That is to say, someone who's only heard of Final Fantasy VII playing this game for the first time, I do kind of imagine that they would ask, where is Sephiroth? But at the end of the day, I honestly don't think that it negatively impacts the story or anything that much, and it might be really interesting to see what they do with it. After all, they're doing everything that they can to make sure that FF7R keeps us on our toes. So no way to fully judge until we get the game in our hands, which is not too much longer now. So Ultima Weapons, as always, I want to know what you think. Is it too early for this stuff, or do you like having it in part 1? Subscribe, click the bell icon, and let me know in the comments below. And if you value the content on this channel, be sure to check out the Patreon for the Night Sky Prince, where incredible people like Tremok help support the channel directly. So if this channel means a lot to you, consider clicking the link in the description below. Shout out to Tremok and the rest of the Ultima community.